SUNY Trustee Lewin, UB Council Members Friedman and Höflich, UB Foundation Member Powers, UB President Tripathi, Dean Abramowski, the candidates for degrees, the faculty, staff, and families of the candidates are assembled. I hereby declare this commencement of the University at Buffalo to be officially opened. If you are able, please stand for the national anthem as sung by Colin Knorr, class of 2019. Gentlemen, please remove your caps.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You may be seated. Please join me in welcoming Aviva Abramowski, Dean and Professor of Law at the University at Buffalo School of Law.
Thank you all so much for being with us here today as we celebrate the success of the class of 2019. You did it. Before we hear words of welcome from the university's president, I'd like to welcome all of you here with us today and take a moment to acknowledge the members of our platform party. This is going to take a minute, but it just goes to show how many people support you. Thank you to SUNY trustee and alumna Eunice Lewin, UB council members Scott Freedom and alumna June Hayflick, UB Foundation trustee and School of Law alumna Jean Powers, our president, Dr. Satish Tripathi. Of course, the Honorable Maite Oroños Rodriguez, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Puerto Rico, The Honorable Julio Fuentes, Senior U.S. Circuit Court Judge, U.S. Court of Appeals, Third Circuit. The Honorable Kathy Hochul, New York State Lieutenant Governor. The Honorable Karen McMahon, New York State Assembly Member. The Honorable Frederick Marshall, New York State Supreme Court Justice. The Honorable John O'Donnell, New York State Supreme Court Justice. The Honorable Barbara Howe, former New York State Surrogate Judge for Erie County. The Honorable Suzanne Maxwell Barnes, Erie County Court Judge. The Honorable James Bagnesi, Niagara County Court Judge. The Honorable Thomas Tim Franzak, former Erie County Court Judge and co-director of the Law School's Trial Advocacy Program. The Honorable Betty Calvo Torres, Buffalo City Court Judge. The Honorable Barbara Johnson Lee, Buffalo City Court Judge. The Honorable Dennis Vacco, former New York State Attorney General, as well as member of our Dean's Advisory Council, and our prestigious faculty and honored guests. Now, it is my pleasure to invite President Tripathi to the podium to deliver greetings to you all on behalf of the university.
Good afternoon. To all our guests, welcome to the University at Buffalo. It is wonderful to have you with us to celebrate this joyous occasion. While your graduates have benefited from many academic mentors, it is you, proud family members and friends, who have served as your graduates' life mentor. So before the degrees are conferred, I would like to thank all of you for everything you have done to make this moment possible. And now at last, here it is. Graduates, you have reached a major milestone. And I am so excited to be among the first to congratulate you, the School of Law Class of 2019, on this wonderful achievement. It is cause for elation and celebration. It is the moment when everything crystallizes. Your toil, your determination, your perseverance. You are about to have that well-earned diploma in hand, and with it, I suspect, a sense of great fulfillment in your heart. At the same time, it is my sincere hope that your UB education has reinforced our collective value of humility in public service. As members of a public research university, we seek to discover and innovate, not for self-glorification or self-aggrandizement, but so we may contribute to the greater good. Serving many and serving meaningfully has always been the centerpiece of UB's mission. We embrace service before self. We are guided by the principle of informed, engaged citizenship as the antidote to indifference. And when we engage with others, we are not compelled to impose our views upon them. Rather, we listen to each other respectfully even when we disagree. That is the essence of humility. It is selfless rather than self-seeking. Let's be clear, humility does not prevent us from having lofty ambitions. Rather, it helps us achieve lofty ambitions without having a lofty view of ourselves. Increasingly, humility is recognized as the differentiator between a good leader and a great leader. Indeed, our own UB researchers have found that the most effective leaders are humble leaders. If we appreciate that we don't have all the answers, we are open and eager to learn from others. We are intellectually curious. We welcome the contrarian's viewpoints. We collaborate without bias. With true humility, we are able to fulfill our civic responsibility. Class of 2019, in preparing you to lead effectively and ethically in our 21st century world, we have seen you put this virtue and value into action. Among many examples, and there are many, you have done this by volunteering your legal expertise to help refugees and immigrants, providing legal services to veterans, service members, and their families, and protecting the civil rights of low-income Western New Yorkers. Like your friends and loved ones, we are very proud of all that you have accomplished at UB, and we look forward to seeing the impact of all your accomplishments moving forward. Graduates, with today's ceremony, you conclude a significant passage in your academic journey. But your journey as a learner never truly ends. If we have prepared you well in your UB education, you will continue to seek answers about your field throughout your career. And you will continue to seek a deeper understanding of the world throughout your life. On this journey, may you put your precious knowledge to its best use. May you be guided by curiosity, integrity, and a desire to serve the public good. As the courageous South African leader Nelson Mandela once said, "What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we had." Once again, congratulations, class of 2019, and all the best wishes on the journey ahead.
Thank you, President Tripathi. That was very nice. And I'd like to remind you all that Nelson Mandela was also a lawyer. So, class of 2019, to you, I want to first say congratulations, you did it. Yeah, go ahead. In case anyone ever thought so, let me be here to tell you, graduating from law school is not an easy thing to do. But it is a worthwhile one, and we are so very proud of you. The theme for my short remarks to you is to think about the pursuit of justice through compassion. The practice of law is one that it's important for us to recognize is not solely that of ideas, not just finding solutions or a battle of words and forms, although sometimes it's a battle of forms, but also understanding that much of what we do is offering our clients, your soon-to-be real live clients, the opportunities to have their positions advocated for, defended with strength and compassion on what is for many of them their worst day, the lowest part of their life, or some other trouble. That is why they come to you. And it's important to be good at what you do, and you are going to be good because you're well trained. But it is also necessary in order to advocate for someone professionally to be able to identify them, and we do that through compassion. Without it, we cannot serve justice, and without it, we cannot serve our community. I was recently reminded by one of our distinguished alumni, U.S. Attorney James Kennedy, that in the federal government, the Department of Justice is the only executive agency named after a virtue. It reminds me that the pursuit of virtue in the practice of law remains an ideal. Though the system may be flawed, it remains one dedicated to the virtue of justice, justice that is achieved through the delivery of representation through compassion. This is a lesson I know you've already learned. President Tripathi has already mentioned it, but I want your entire family, all of your friends, and everyone on this stage to understand how accomplished, how virtuous and compassionate you are as a class. You, class of 2019, have done more than 40,000 hours of pro bono service as law students. The words pro bono, I also want to remind everyone, which means for the public good, not just for free. Yes. That represents millions of dollars of service to our community and communities nationally. Many of you have participated in the clinics. You've tackled wage theft, teen dating violence, veterans issues. You have, of course, worked with the clinic that inspired Justice Aroñez to come here to speak with you and be our commencement speaker in Puerto Rico. Many of you went to Mexico for the border clinic where we had 100% success rate with 320 detained women and children's credible fear hearings. You've done so many, many things, but I want to remind this class, you did it as part of a group. Our community of alumni and friends have provided the support to make it possible. Much of what we've done has been achieved through crowdfunding and through outreach in our community because they want to launch you, give you those chances, and permit you now and forever to engage in the community and the world. Right now, you're probably a little tired, right? Right now, you're probably thinking, it's been a long couple weeks. I took some finals. There's something called the bar exam coming. You're a little tired. And you've worked very hard to be here today. But whenever you're feeling tired and overwhelmed, I just want to point to one person who's graduating. I want you to think about Norma Polizzi, who's graduating. Norma was over 40 years old when she first earned her JD here in 2001. She practiced law for more than 17 years before returning here and is graduating today with an LLM in environmental law. Norma, you are an example to us all. Norma is proof that we can fight what's called compassion fatigue. We will hear from the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Puerto Rico who will describe the heroic efforts the judiciary took in the wake of that storm. Think about how difficult it is to do justice and do good in this world and without electricity, sometimes without phones, right, and no Wi-Fi, yeah? Which is why, and of course, this is going to trigger years and years of litigation, which is why, like Norma, in the interest of justice, we have to harness our compassion to keep being energetic. And I have complete faith in Judge Ordonez and the resilient people of Puerto Rico. But I want us to know that it is only through our hard work and community efforts and working as groups, right, and remembering to not give up on things even when they're no longer in the news. They do not stop being important just because they're not a headline, okay? And the nature of law is that it is slow. It is the nature of our field that it may take time. Things take a long time to adjudicate, but it is important and it is worthwhile, okay? So do not give up even if you don't see right away the results that you wish to have in a motion or a hearing or a brief or a trial. We will get there, okay? We will continue to be there. Life is a marathon, not a sprint, okay? So keep your muscles in shape. You've been well trained by a dedicated faculty, a superb advocacy institute, and by dedicated staff who make our programs run, who are hovering all around you right now, often unnoticed, helping you become what society needs you to be. You've been well taught also by many people on this stage, by a judiciary dedicated to ensuring your acclamation to the rule of law, who have taught you, yes, sometimes actually judged you, and are now here to celebrate you, to welcome you to the profession of law. Which one of you is going to be sitting here in 10 years because they're on the bench? Which one of you is going to be the one training the next group of defenders of the rule of law, our way, the Buffalo way? Justice through academic excellence, advocacy with compassion. You have, of course, also been supported by the state of New York. Never forget, we are SUNY's flagship law school. We represent the state's mission to service to the public. More importantly, throughout it all, you have been loved. Take the opportunity now, graduates, look around this room, see your families, your friends, your parents, your grandparents, your siblings, and in many cases, your own children, who have been here with you on this journey every step of the way. Please take this opportunity to thank them with your applause for all they have done for you and all that they mean to you. No one gets anywhere alone. We are the product of many things together. You are only my second graduating class as dean, so I want you to know that you are very, very special to me. I've gotten to know quite a few of you, and I'm very proud, and it will be my honor to watch your continued development now that you have moved from student to graduate, or will in about 20 minutes. This is not, and I want you to understand, today is not the end in any way of our relationship. It's not the end of your relationship with UB. You are now alumni. Study hard for the bar, and I will see many of you again at the Rochester reception, where you'll be admitted to practice law very soon. Join the Gold group. Stay involved. Gold, by the way, stands for Graduate of the Last Decades. I think that's very sweet. And I will see even more of you as dean, as alumni, than probably as students. Congratulations again. Remember that this is when it gets really fun. You're doing something special with your life. No, you never roam alone. We're always going to be here for you. This school and its alumni will stay here. We will hold the line. We will stay the course. And together, we will go show the world what it means to be a true Buffalo lawyer. You've got this. I have no doubts in you. Congratulations, class of 2019. I invite President Tripathi back to the podium for the conferral of the SUNY honorary degree.
We take time at commencement to recognize noteworthy achievements of members of our larger UB community. Traditionally, we award State University of New York honorary doctoral degrees to the distinguished individuals whose accomplishments and contributions are of special significance to UB and Western New York. These honorary degrees proposed by our campus and authorized by SUNY trustees are conferred on individuals who represent the highest ideals of University at Buffalo. Ms. Eunice Lewin, member of the State University of New York Board of Trustees, will join me now to confer our 2019 State University of New York honorary doctorate. And our recipient, Julio Fuentes, please come forward at this time. The first Hispanic judge appointed to the United States Courts of Appeals for the Third Circuit, the Honorable Julio M. Fuentes, has distinguished himself as a lawyer and a jurist throughout his impressive career. Nominated to current position on the bench by former President Bill Clinton in 1999, Judge Fuentes has earned the respect and admiration of his colleagues for his integrity and for his dedication to the highest ideals of legal profession. A champion of access and opportunity in legal education and the legal profession, Judge Fuentes has demonstrated a strong and sustained commitment to the advancement of minority attorneys. A native of Puerto Rico, Judge Fuentes is a 1975 graduate of UB Law School and has remained closely connected to his alma mater for more than 4 decades. In addition to serving for more than a decade on the law school's Dean Advisory Council, Judge Fuentes has had tremendous impact on our university community by mentoring the next generation of lawyers. This includes hiring 7 UB Law graduates as full-time law clerks and nearly 36 student interns, providing each of them with invaluable experience that has enabled them to further their careers and at highly esteemed law firms and public interest organizations. Judge Fuentes embodies the highest ideals of personal and professional excellence that we seek to instill in our students and has thus brought deep pride and great prominence to UB and to our SUNY system. In recognition of his notable and distinguished career achievements and in appreciation of his association with and impact on our university as an inspiring alumnus, the University at Buffalo is privileged to confer upon him, on behalf of the State University of New York, a 2019 honorary doctorate in law.
By the authority of the trustees and the Chancellor of the State University of New York and the Council and the faculty of the University at Buffalo, I now confer upon the Honorable Julio Fuentes the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges thereto pertaining. In token thereof, I present this diploma and direct that he be vested with the hood appropriate to that degree. Felicitaciones por este honor y mis mejores deseos para el futuro, Juez Fuentes. Congratulations.
Bueno, mil gracias. Oh, we got to speak English. Yeah, really, thank you, President Tripathi, Dean Bromosky. What an incredible honor. I can tell you one thing, it has always been my pleasure to be able to work with the University of Buffalo law students as law clerks and as interns. You are just as good as the students from any other university in the country. You work as hard, you're just as smart, you're right just as well. I am so honored to be here. It never would have occurred to me that I would return to my law school under these circumstances. And I have to say, it's truly an honor to be with you today to celebrate this milestone in your career. This event, this graduation, has caused me to look back and think of the reason that I went to law school. We all have our reasons. Some people know very early on what career they're going to pursue. That was not my case. Even in college, I never imagined going to law school. But around my senior year and into my graduate school studies, I was becoming more aware of the importance of a number of issues like climate change, women's rights, employment, fair employment, discrimination, racial equality, access to equal education, the environment. And what I did recognize is that lawyers are involved in all of those issues, and I was terribly impressed. So although I was in the middle of a graduate program in New York City, I applied, and I was accepted. And when that happened, I left that other program in New York City, and I came here to Buffalo. I went back to finish that program, yes I did, but this became my passion. This was more important. I also had to do something to impress my girlfriend. And it actually worked because she's now my wife. And with me today. So it was a pretty good decision. But I do want to say, we as lawyers have a tremendous responsibility to protect the integrity of our judicial system and to ensure equal justice and access to the courts for everyone. I didn't grow up knowing that I wanted to be a lawyer. I came to that decision late in life, but once I started down that path, I've always been passionate about the law. And, very importantly, the underappreciated role that lawyers have in our society. We serve as policymakers, members of Congress, judges, professors. We wear many hats, all of them critical to the need to preserve democracy in our way of life. And for me, I live that truth every day. I want people to believe in our courts and our justice system. My own career has taken me from a small law firm in a Spanish-speaking area of Jersey City, a largely immigrant neighborhood, to serving on a federal appellate court. And in between, I served as a municipal court judge, family court judge, criminal court judge, chancery court judge. But to me, no role was more important than municipal court. For many people, their only contact with the courts and the judicial system will be a traffic ticket, a simple assault, a neighborhood dispute. And for them, that day in court will shape their view of lawyers and the courts and our judicial system, maybe for the rest of their lives. And because of that, we have a responsibility, not just as judges, but of all lawyers, to preserve the rights of every individual that seeks assistance of an attorney in our judicial system. Keep in mind, you really can't have freedom without equal application of the law, and that is our responsibility. When I graduated over 40 years ago, I was not motivated to hang my diploma on the wall. I strove to pursue justice. A lot has changed since then, since my graduation in 1975, and yet many of the same issues that motivated me to pursue a law degree are still relevant today, aren't they? Women's rights, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, due process, the environment, and the rights of all workers at all levels. These are issues that you are now uniquely qualified to help in some small way. Now, rest assured, there is no correct path in the legal field. For me, it was ultimately public service. But there are so many ways that you as lawyers make a real impact. Pro bono work, as was mentioned a short while ago. Mentorship, community activism. If you contribute to just one more person feeling that their rights were protected and that our profession cared about them, you have done a great service. One last thought, and it's actually a request, and it's a very simple request. Never compromise your integrity, not for anyone, not for any price. Graduates, we are all proud of you, and we believe you will continue to make us proud. I am so happy to be back here. I love this school. Thank you, and congratulations.
Congratulations to Honorable Judge Fuentes on this well-deserved honor. It's now also my honor to introduce our keynote speaker, the Honorable Maite D. Oroños Rodriguez. When our keynote speaker became the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Puerto Rico in 2016, she made history. She is the third woman to preside over the island's Supreme Court, the youngest person to do so, and with her ascension, she became the first openly gay Chief Justice in U.S. history. What was unknown at that time was that history of another sort was in the making. When Hurricane Maria devastated Puerto Rico and nearby islands in September 2017, it became the worst natural disaster ever to strike the region. Puerto Ricans continue to struggle with recovery efforts, and it will be a long time before life on the island will ever be considered totally back to normal. Natural disasters can severely test the institutions that undergird our societies, but faced with this crisis, Justice Oroños Rodriguez worked tirelessly to ensure everyone's safety and to swiftly reopen the courts and reestablishing the functioning of the judicial system. Think for a moment, just for a moment, what our life would be like, how much of our civilization is based on electricity, on Wi-Fi, and what that would do to a criminal justice system or the rest of our rules and society for quite some time. Minimizing disruption to court activity, the Chief Justice imparted a clear message to the community that justice carries on. Just a few months after the hurricane, our Puerto Rico Recovery Assistance Clinic traveled to San Juan to provide legal services to those needing help. Justice Oroños Rodriguez welcomed our students personally, sharing her knowledge and preparing our students for the difficult days ahead. Since then, she has continued to offer her supporting guidance, meeting with our clinic and with me to discuss how our law school remains an important part of rebuilding and empowering a resistant Puerto Rico. We are humbled to be a part of these efforts and committed to continuing answering the call as it is issued. Among her many efforts to advance the rule of law, she heads the Puerto Rico Judicial Assembly, the Board of Bar Examiners of the Supreme Court of Puerto Rico, so you can ask her questions after the ceremony, the Access to Justice Commission, and the Committee on Gender and Equality. We applaud her commitment to protecting law and order throughout Puerto Rico and the inspiring example she sets for each one of us as a member of the legal community. It is my pleasure to welcome the Honorable Maite D. Oroños Rodriguez to the podium at this time.
Hello, Buffalo. President Tripathi, Dean of Eva, members of the board, faculty and staff, proud parents, family, and loved ones. Members of the class of 2019, thank you for inviting me to share this rite of passage with you. I'm honored and humbled to speak at your 130th commencement exercises. It is with unbridled joy for what you have accomplished that I say, congratulations. The University of Buffalo School of Law has been a committed ally to Puerto Rico, and for that, I thank you. Thank you, Professor Connolly, Professor Chiesa, for conceiving of the Puerto Rico Recovery Legal Clinic. And thanks to all staff, students, and administrators. You embody UB's mission to cultivate ethical and engaged lawyers. On September 20th, 2017, Puerto Rico began facing the unprecedented challenges unleashed by Hurricane Maria's landfall. My challenge as Chief Justice was to get the judicial branch up and running as soon as possible, for justice is most needed in times of crisis. In January 2018, just over 3 months into the emergency, I welcomed your Recovery Assistance Legal Clinic during its first trip to the island. During the visit, Dina Viva, acknowledging our efforts in the courts to act swiftly, said that our judicial branch, and I quote, imparts a clear message that justice shall not be stopped. Justice shall not be stopped. What a powerful thought. Today, inspired by those words, I wish to share with you a few things I have learned over time. I hope they encourage you to be part of the global effort to ensure that justice shall not be stopped, no matter the circumstances. I graduated law school in 2002 when the United States was looking to heal after September 11. It was a time, very much like today, when civil and constitutional liberties were threatened. Fear and uncertainty led to hate and discrimination. Privacy and freedom were sacrificed in the name of national security. Life, as we knew it, had changed. Yet, many were working tirelessly to keep hope, to strengthen justice and promote values and unity, and the just path that is the promise of America. As a recent law graduate in such a landscape, I embraced public service, determined to help move the world closer to justice and equality. I aspired to open doors and create a safe space where the voices of the marginalized could be heard. As a young lawyer, I sought to protect and advance the most fundamental human and civil rights. As a human being, I committed to living with integrity in every aspect of my life. Your experiences, good and bad, have shaped who you are as a person, just like mine shaped me. Use those experiences. Use your unique self to inform your decisions and to bring to the table new solutions to old problems. 12 years after graduating from law school, I was appointed to the Supreme Court as an Associate Justice. It came to be a defining moment in my life. The appointment was historic for a very simple reason. I was honest about who I was, a young, gay woman. I assure you, there will come a time where you will have to decide who you are and what you stand for. And you must be prepared, because you don't want others to define you. When I took office as Chief Justice, my focus was to bring forth efficiency, transparency, and a more accessible justice system. I thought it was vital to bring the courts closer to the communities and adapt them to Puerto Rico's fast-changing economic and social realities. We had a clear vision and laid out the plans to accomplish our goals. Then, as I mentioned, on September 20th of 2017, our plans changed as fast as the winds of Hurricane Maria. But justice could not be stopped. Democracy cannot withstand the absence of an accessible and robust judicial system, especially during an extended emergency. In the aftermath of such a catastrophe, the work of judges, personnel, attorneys, and law students was a testament to the importance of community, of civility, a demonstration of unity despite our differences. We learned that in a time as turbulent and polarized as ours, we have no choice but to work together to build greater resilience and move the arc of history. As Hillary Rodham Clinton told Yale's graduating class last year, and I quote, "If any group were ever prepared to rise to the occasion, it is you. You've already demonstrated the character and the courage that will help you navigate this tumultuous moment. And most of all, you've demonstrated resilience. Your generation has already lived through unforeseen changes and challenges, among them the aftermath of 9/11, changes in the world economic order, the rise of both globalization and extreme nationalism, all coupled with the astonishing changes in our everyday life brought by technology. You have more readily available tools and information than any generation before you. And today, you also have the education to discern what is true and what is valuable, what can help you and your communities thrive. You can use it to identify and reject what is false, what robs society of its dignity and its sense of civility, what erodes our justice system and our democracy. The disregard for the truth, the normalization of false reporting, virulence on social media, and the disrespect towards people, government institutions, and the rule of law have all contributed to an increase in damaging rhetoric, fear, distrust, and divisiveness. We can fight that. You have what it takes to fight that. And you will find that amidst uncertainty, there are many young men and women like you working towards a better, more peaceful, and inclusive society. Men and women who believe in the rule of law and in civility, true civility as a required ingredient for justice and democracy. One that guarantees the right to vote, the right to due process, the right to prosper, the right to be free, and the right of equal treatment under the law. Historically, lawyers have been the guardians and the ultimate defenders of the rule of law, and your role is crucial. Your advice and decisions matter. They could help or hinder. They could be the difference between freedom or incarceration, between responsible development or the decimation of communities, between the right to pursue happiness or being pushed to the fringes, alienated and forgotten. Your counsel can create equality or foster inequality. It can protect or undermine justice. You all will take different paths with different views and different priorities. Some will march against abortion. Some will take the stand for transgender rights or immigration reform. Some will find their path in corporate law and others in public service. Your challenge is not to agree on everything. It is to fight for justice, applied justly and equally. You leave UB with the knowledge and the skills to defend the rights of others. And you should also have the tenacity to challenge the law and the profession when it is unfair and not living up to its obligations. And of course, the legal profession is not immune to corrosive influence, incivility, and polarization. And when you hear that lawyers have defaced their historical duties, or become too greedy, or ruled arrogantly, accept that some have. But also remember, It was a lawyer who argued to expand civil rights and end segregation. It was a lawyer who argued for interracial and gay marriage. It was a lawyer who argued for gender equality. And it is often lawyers who guide people through the most difficult and the most triumphant times in their lives. You now belong to the profession that can change the course of history. You belong to the profession that can change the lives of future generations. I am hopeful that you too will commit to the idea that justice shall not be stopped or denied or corrupted, not by indifference, not by greed, not by racism or bigotry or malice, not by anything or anyone. Today is the first day. This is your accomplishment. This is the foundation. This is the open door. Thank you for the privilege of sharing this day with you. Congratulations, class of 2019.
Thank you, Judge Orones Rodriguez, for being here today, and please accept this buffalo as our token of appreciation.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Now you can sit down. We would now please join me in welcoming Mark Brown, President of the Law Alumni Association, who will deliver greetings on behalf of the alumni.
Thank you, Dean Abramowski. Good afternoon. It is both a privilege and an honor to speak with you today on behalf of the University of Buffalo Law School Alumni Association. A quick search on Wikipedia would reveal a list of very impressive lawyers, judges, and government leaders who have used their UB Law degrees to make a difference in the lives of others. All of those alumni, dating back to the turn of the last century, had one thing in common: their graduation from this prestigious law school. In addition, like many of you who will be graduating today, these alums use their law degrees and what they learned here as a student to make a difference. While you were looking at law schools, you dealt with the admissions office. During law school, you had 3 years to work with your professors and your administrators. Now, for the rest of your career, we welcome you as part of the Alumni Association. This symbiotic relationship involves alumni giving their time and resources to the law school, and in return, they build on networking and career opportunities. In addition, they receive satisfaction in giving back to our next generation of lawyers. In my graduating class of 1999, we built strong relationships during our 3 years together that progressed well beyond the walls of O'Brien Hall, wherein we continue to help each other out to progress our careers 20 years later. At some point during your law school career, you should have had contact with alumni through the official mentoring program or through the student group initiative, which began this past year. Just because you graduate today does not mean that this relationship is over. It continues past graduation. However, it is important for you to take that initiative and keep in touch. Based on a unanimous vote taken at last week's monthly board meeting, the Alumni Association voted to provide free membership to all graduates of the class of 2019. Therefore, you will receive the benefits of being a member, which includes reduced rates at CLEs and social events throughout the year, and participation in our highly successful Gold or the Graduates of the Last Decade group. I urge each of you to take this opportunity and begin the important step of networking with alumni across diverse practice areas. Each of you sitting here today will lead your own charge and stand out with tens of thousands of alumni behind you as you progress in your individual careers. Please remember that at this point, it does not matter whether you were an early admission, a transfer student, or the last person selected on the wait list. Once you leave here today with your diploma in hand, you will be on the same footing as everybody else, and the time is now for you to chart your own course. On behalf of all UB Law School alumni, congratulations and welcome to the UB Law Alumni Association.
Thank you. Now please join me in welcoming Melissa Cathan of the class of 2019, who will be delivering the student address.
Thank you, Dean, and thank you all for your patience to hear yet another speaker. Over 200 years ago, a handful of scholars buckled down in an effort to change the trajectory of a nation. After 2 weeks of hard work, our founding fathers produced a poignant piece of paper. And this piece of paper became the Declaration that sparked upheaval, discourse, and transformation, and created our United States. For us today, our 2 weeks of hard work is 7 years of schooling, and our Declaration is a diploma. As graduates of the University at Buffalo School of Law, we now begin a journey equipped with our diplomas to fight for justice and improve our community and country. The University at Buffalo School of Law has a reputation for being a school that leverages its influence to improve the community. Already, I have seen my fellow JD and LLM recipients affect great change through the law. I was humbled to be in a class with students who changed their plans to travel to Puerto Rico and add their skills to the recovery effort. I felt a sense of pride when I saw the UB Law Sports Forum gain national attention. And I cried with fellow students in the Health Justice Clinic when we fulfilled a single mother's dying wish to keep her son with a supportive family member. As you can see, even though we have not yet received our piece of paper, we have demonstrated its power. But we must remember that with influence comes obligation. And in the spirit of this school, one of our key obligations is to serve the community and each other. A judge once told me, in court, attorneys do not win or lose. Cases are won or lost. He said he dislikes nothing more than seeing a case before him become a personal battle between attorneys and lose its focus on the clients. Some of us will encounter each other in court, but I'm confident that any case between UB alums would live and die on the facts and the law and be argued with mutual respect. Today, and every day, hold your degree from UB Law with pride. Let your diploma be as effectual as the Declaration of Independence. Bring your skills to the side of progress, whether that means defending a client, protecting immigrants' rights, or drafting legislation. So, thank you for these last 3 years, and thank you to our professors who pushed us and held our hands when we needed. Thank you to our family and friends who simply dealt with us. And finally, thank you all for these lasting friendships and continued support. I wish you luck, and I take comfort in knowing that we, the UB Law class of 2019, will define the future of our community and nation. Thank you.
Good job. Thank you, Ms. Cathan. Very well done. Now for the presenting of some awards. The Dean's Medal is given at commencement to recognize individuals who have distinguished themselves by their commitment to justice and the rule of law. This year's recipient of the Dean's Medal is Kathy Hochul, who since 2014 has served with unmatched energy and commitment as New York's Lieutenant Governor. Please come stand with me. You just stand here and I'm going to introduce you. There. In democracy, the rule of law finds its fullest expression in the cooperative enterprise of governance. Kathy Hochul has been in the trenches making that happen from the beginning as a member of the Hamburg Town Board, as Erie County Clerk in the United States Congress, and now as our state's second highest ranking public servant. In addition to her wide-ranging economic development work, Lieutenant Governor Hochul has used her position to advance the fight against opioid and heroin abuse in New York, and she leads the Cuomo administration's work in championing fair wages and paid family leave and combating sexual assault on college campuses. We in Western New York know her as an advocate for our region as well, but it's not just us, although we're glad it's us. Lieutenant Governor Hochul makes it a point to travel to all 62 counties of the state every year. She has used the power of her legal education with great effectiveness, helping to ensure that all New Yorkers can enjoy the blessings of governance that carries at its heart a commitment to equal justice and the rule of law. Justice and the rule of law have no greater advocate. On behalf of the University of Buffalo School of Law, I am proud to present the 2019 Dean's Medal to Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul. It's an actual medal.
Yes, it's actually quite heavy. Thank you, Dean, and I can't tell you the weight of this honor on me. It is profound, and I'm so honored to be here at this event. This is not my first law school commencement. 36 years ago, I sat there in a class like this, graduating myself. 35 years ago, I sat in this very audience as a proud girlfriend, soon-to-be wife of a young man who graduated from UV Law School, who ended up becoming a United States attorney, so you never know what's going to happen. To the moms and dads, I once sat out in an audience like this, proudly watching my son become a lawyer as well. So I know at this point, you all want to get going because you want to have some fun. I get this. I've been there. But just a few more moments, and I hope you sucked in and embraced the power of the message that you heard from our previous speakers. I come to this leaving so recharged and re-energized and really even more passionate about our calling and what we do in life because of the words of the individuals who spoke. So the Dean, I want to thank you for reminding the importance of compassion in our daily lives and for giving me this honor. To UB President Satish Tripathi, thank you for reminding us about the importance of humility. And to Judge Fuentes, a life of service to others, thank you for joining us here today. And Justice Alonzo Rodriguez, when I heard your words, I was reminded the countless times that the governor and I spoke about our need to do something for Puerto Rico because they've been being abandoned by so many others. And we went to rallies, and we were among the first to bring supplies and support. We still have people on the ground. So as New Yorkers, you should be proud that we have hearkened the call of Puerto Rico se levanta. Puerto Rico will rise with the support of all the people in this room, but also the state of New York. And to Mark Brown and to Melissa Cathan, thank you for those fabulous words. So I know that as an award recipient and not as the keynote speaker, I have to be a little shorter. So I'm a politician, so if you can spot me about a half a minute longer, I'd really appreciate it. But I do want to just reflect on the significance of the talk about the oath you take. And you know you have not taken an oath today. I know you have one more little hurdle to get through called the bar exam. And I actually heard that there's a group meeting around 10 o'clock tonight to start studying. Do you all get that message? Okay, yeah, you're not going to be there. I get it. But take it seriously, because this is one of the last tests that you can be measured by on a piece of paper. The rest of your life will be measured by what you do. And so focus on this, because on that very day when all of you and every single one of you will pass, that is my expectation, and I'm a mother, I know how to lay guilt on everybody, you will be joined by each of us in Rochester to celebrate that day. But the most important thing about that day is that you will do something that I have had to do every single time I've been elected to office. And as you heard from my career, it sounds like I can't hold down a job. I've had a lot of elected positions, but I've loved every one of them. But every single time I'm called to raise my right hand and take an oath to uphold the Constitution that is the foundation of our very existence, and that is, I can't think of anything more significant. And you will take that same oath. But I'm going to call on you today Don't just defend the words on a document that created our democracy. Defend the people who live in that democracy. And there's a difference, because you will not know this until you walk out this door, but people will now look at you differently and they will treat you differently, because you have something that so many have perhaps thought about, but they just couldn't make the path happen for themselves. You are now on a pedestal. You are going to be revered in certain social circles, treated as if you're something better. And the way you can use that, and remember the words of Dr. Tripathi about being humble, use that as a powerful sword to fight for justice, because there are people out there who have no clue how to fight for themselves. Whether it's a woman who's been abused by a husband and doesn't know where to turn, whether it's a refugee that's come to this country with nothing on their back but a hope and a dream, or a family that's been devastated by heroin overdose and they want to get justice for their lost child by suing a pharmaceutical company or the drug dealer on the street. There'll be people who are hopeless until they walk into your door, and your very presence and the outstanding degree you received at this institution and your passion will give them hope. That is powerful. That is powerful. I call on you to find so many different avenues to use that. Because at the end of your days, you're not going to be judged by how well you did here, or who your friends are, what your title is, or how many elective offices you've held. It's looking back, and you've heard this here on this stage. How many lives have you made better because you walk this earth yourself? That is how you'll be judged. That is how you should judge yourself. And that is the expectation we have on every single one of you as now a distinguished alumni of the University of Buffalo Law School. I congratulate you, but to your families, moms and dads, God bless you. You've been through a lot. And I thank you for never giving up on your children. And perhaps they needed some extra pushes and encouragement along the way. And I call on you to turn around and at some point before you leave this building, you give your parents the biggest hug you've ever done, because they deserve it. And to your siblings who've had to tolerate my sister the lawyer, my brother the lawyer talk all these years. Compassion, humility, empathy. I encourage you to always embrace those, starting with your family here today. Thank your professors. Thank these incredible administrators. Thank the trustees who live every day to make this institution an even better place for all of us in New York. And also, thank God that you live in the greatest country on this planet, and you go forth to make a difference every single day. Congratulations, graduates.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Hochul. I now call Vice Dean Todd Brown to the podium to present our Excellence in Teaching Award.
Each year at Commencement, we present the Ken Joyce Excellence in Teaching Award to recognize the very best among our adjunct faculty in carrying out the most crucial responsibility of our law school, educating our students. This year's award goes to William F. Savino, a partner in the litigation department of the Buffalo law firm Woods, Oviatt & Gilman, who shares his expertise and his unbridled enthusiasm with our upper-level students. Bill has been a longtime professor, not only at the School of Law, but also the School of Management. Those who know him, which seems to include literally everyone in the Western New York legal community, can attest that he bleeds blue. His passion for UB and the School of Law in particular is unmatched. And the same commitment to excellence that has made him an accomplished lawyer and musician extends to the classroom, where students praise both his, quote, extensive knowledge and ability to bring the law alive. Others highlight his approachability and genuine interest in their success in the classroom as lawyers and as people. As one of our former Ken Joyce recipients said when they learned that Bill would be this year's recipient, there is nobody like Bill. I can't think of anyone who's more deserving. On behalf of the School of Law, its students and friends, it is my pleasure to present the Ken Joyce Excellence in Teaching Award today to William F. Savino.
the photographer? It's over here. It's over here. Thank you. Honorees, Chief Justice Oronos Rodriguez, Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul, Circuit Court Judge Dr. Honoris Causa, and dear classmate Julio Fuentes, we cannot close today without knowing that his honor is in the New Jersey Wrestling Hall of Fame, okay? Nobody mentioned that. Initially, I thank Dean Abramowski and the law school faculty for allowing me to teach my commercial litigation bridge course for my alma mater. I am truly honored to be recognized for the Ken Joyce Teaching Award and lucky enough to have been taught by him. Ken's level of enthusiasm and mastery of the tax law are universally recognized. I will never pretend to teach that well. Professor Joyce set the bar at an impossibly high level. For those of you who don't know, the bridge courses are offered by practitioners during January winter break and involve 12 to 14 hours in the classroom. UB's bridge course, which Judge Denman referred to as a bridge to practice, was an inspiration 25 years ago of this UB alumna who set the bar high, M. Dolores Denman. We all benefit from her brilliant idea to wedge into the winter break courses that address the practice of law after graduation. Like Ken Joyce, Dolores was an inspiration to many. Her many accomplishments included being the first woman to serve as presiding justice in the appellate division of New York State Supreme Court. At her funeral, almost 2 decades ago, her eulogist, Second Circuit Court Judge Richard C. Wesley, used a refrain that perfectly described her. Dolores, dressed in black with pearls, elegance with grit. This iconic UB supporter and alumna invented herself through sheer force of will. Our public law school gave her the chance. Our law school has graduated so many accomplished and game-changing students. The class of I'm giving away my age. The class of 2019 should look to those who have gone before and draw hope and inspiration from people like Ken Joyce and Dolores Denman. I hope you not only reach the bar they have set, but set new standards of greatness. And thank you for letting me teach.
The prizes and awards conferred today are described on pages 10 through 13 of your program. At this time, we will announce our top 3 student awards and prizes. When I announce your name, please come on stage to accept your award. The 2019 Max Corin Award recognizes the graduating student who has exemplified the highest standards of the profession in the judgment of the faculty and the dean. This year's award is presented to Alex C. Betchen. Alex is a member of the graduating class who, in the judgment of the faculty and dean, has exemplified the highest standards of the profession by virtue of scholastic achievement, leadership, and dedication to the ideals of the law. Congratulations. The 2019 John N. Bennett Achievement Award is presented to the senior as judged by the faculty to demonstrate the highest scholastic achievement in this year's class. Congratulations, Genevieve S. Rados. The 2019 Dale S. Margulis Award is presented to the member of the graduating class who contributed the most to the law school and the community. Congratulations, Joshua Wallace. Dale S. Margulis, a member of the class of 1982, died suddenly in August 1982. To honor his memory, his classmates, family, and friends established this award. Members of the graduating class nominate candidates, and the recipient is selected by the deans. Once again, congratulations, Mr. Wallace. Other award recipients are listed on the insert in your program. These students received their awards earlier today during our Student Awards Convocation. Will those students who have won awards please rise? Thank you. I now invite Kevin Southern of the 2018-2019 Student Bar Association President to the podium to present the Faculty and Staff Awards on behalf of the class of 2019.
Each year, the graduating class votes to recognize a member of the faculty and a member of the staff for their outstanding contributions not only to the School of Law, but also the graduating class. Today, our recipients exhibit those qualities of leadership that we need. Leadership's imperative is a sense of rightness, knowing when to advance and when to pause, when to criticize and when to praise, and how to encourage others to excel. From the leader's reserves of energy, her followers draw strength. In her determination and self-confidence, they find inspiration. According to our class, this professor is always accessible if you have a question or if you need help or clarification on an assignment. But you better be prepared for class. We feel she puts in as much work as she expects from her students. Once, I stopped her as she was on her way out of the building. Had to ask about a legal question. She could have said to me, "Come back during office hours," but she didn't. She answered my question in full, and I wasn't even a student in her class that semester. This goes to show that she is a teaching superstar, quite possibly the best professor some of us has ever had. It is rare to have a professor both extremely challenging and extremely supportive. On behalf of the graduating class of 2019, we present Professor Christine Bartholomew with the Faculty of the Year Award. Please come forward and accept your award. According to our class, this individual puts students before all else. Her door is always open, and she will stop whatever she is doing to listen or help a student. Positivity does not even begin to describe this person. I've taken a ton of time from her, constantly in her office strategizing or venting. For those of you who know me, know that I'm a chatterbox, so those conversations were very lengthy. But not once did she ever complain or end the conversation abruptly. She listened, took notes if necessary, and always found an answer for me. She is our go-to at the law school. No one is a better advocate for our student body. On behalf of the class of 2019, we present Amy Atkinson with the Staff of the Year Award. I now turn it back over to Dean Brown.
Thank you, Kevin. Congratulations, Professor Bartholomew and Amy. I'm pleased to invite Dean Abramovsky and President Tripathi back to the center podium, as well as our herald, Professor Anya Bernstein, to the podium at my left. We are pleased to begin the conferral of degrees.
The candidates recommended by the faculty for the degree of Master of Laws will be presented by Dean Aviva Abramovsky.
Okay. Will the candidates for the degree of Masters of Laws and Master of Laws in Criminal Law and Environmental Law please rise? President Tripathi, on behalf of the faculty of the university, I have the honor of recognizing these candidates. They have met all of the requirements of the university and are recommended to you by the faculty for the degree of Master of Laws and Master of Laws in Criminal Law and Environmental Law.
By the authority of the trustees and the Chancellor of the State University of New York and the Council and the faculty of University at Buffalo, I now confer upon you the degree of Master of Laws and Master of Laws in Criminal Law and in Environmental Law, with all the rights and privileges thereto pertaining.
Hamad Oda Aloda. Juan David Bazani Montaya. Adina Buchuruga. Norma Eileen Pelosi. Please join me in congratulating the graduates. The candidates recommended by the faculty for the degree of Juris Doctor will be presented by Dean Aviva Abramovsky.
Will the candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor please rise? President Tripathi, on behalf of the faculty of the university, I have the honor of recognizing these candidates. They have met all of the requirements of the university and are recommended to you by the faculty for the degree of Juris Doctor.
By the authority of the trustees and the Chancellor of the State University of New York and the Council and the faculty of the University at Buffalo, I now confer upon you the degree of Juris Doctor with all the rights and privileges thereto pertaining.
Ryan Christian Altieri. Michael Evan Altman. Ian DeAndre Ardis, Jr. Alexandra S. Balmer. Ariel Ann Bowerly. Carrie Marie Bager. Vicki M. Bell. Alyssa J. Bergston. Alana Brewster Bernhard. Alex Christopher Betchen. Wida Faith Binney Francis. Alexander A. Bitar. Amanda Noel Blum. Catherine Sarah Blum. Richard Patrick Brooks. Heather Rachel Burley. Jacqueline Ann Carosa. Angela M. Carson. Christine Nicole Celeste. Kristen Ann Coons. Joseph Carl Crozier. Araman Ari D'Alfonso. Elizabeth R. David. Carolyn Lavin Devon. Zachary James Dewey. Orlando Henry Dixon. Anthony Joseph DiPerna. Connor Charles Doherty. John Cross Doyle. Zachary S. Dragonette. Eric R. Duncan. Christina M. Eaton. Jacob Martin Eckenrode. Sarah Abigail Ilardo. Charles Joseph Englert III. Connor Paul Enteman. Tyler John Phelan. Nicole Marie Filipponi. William Francis Fitzgerald. Emily Jean Florzak. Joseph Carlos Flores. Alexandria Noelani Franier. Gregory Scott Gaglione, Jr. Dylan John Garlock. Jordana Corinne Gelber. William J. Gherkin. Saida N. Gibson Lawrenson. Caitlin Marie Gindel. Chana Gordon. Thomas R. Granke. Carolyn Grinnell. James Lanier Harrington. Lindsay Marie Hartley. Jordan Ray Hawkins. Jordan Welch Humphreys. William Henry Hythen. Kelly Marie Johnson. Curtis Ray Jones. Deanna Mae Jones. Nurjamal Kaparova. Melissa Jane Cathan. Cheryl Kennedy. Christopher M. Kirkland. Colin Marshall Knorr. Stacy Lee Kochanowski. Rasha Ismuth Kolia. Caitlin Roll Kramer. Natalie Marie Lesniak. Salvatore Michael Licciardello. Katrina Marie Loss. Cynthia Marie Frachel Manuel. Alexander Isaiah Martin. Olenka N. Masny. Ryan Patrick Maxwell. Matthew James McClellan. Emma Claire Maladetz. Denzel Moore. Bridget Marie Morgan. Jordan D. Morochek. Lindsay K. Munschauer. Nicole Noel Mutanani. Colette Antoinette Noel. Joseph Carmen Notar Thomas. Owen Reed Ortolani. Hillary Erin Panic. Louis Philip Panzica, Jr. Stephen Charles Papilla. Pia Perfetto. Davis Arthur Podkulski. Samantha Rose Podless. Ifeoluwa Motunrayo Popula. Salvatore Michael Prince. Rebecca Rose Rabideau. Genevieve Sumner Rados. Rupi Ravindradas. Brianna Christine Riley. Jonathan Javier Reyes Colon. Dominic Franklin Roa. Colleen Ann Roberts. Joseph James Robinson. Kevin Michael Roman. Emily Aaron Ronald. Alexandria N. Rowan, Christopher D. Saley, Gargi Sarker Monterville, Emily Grace Sowers, Alexander Raymond Shear, Michael Lawrence Schwartz, Imandeep Singh, Kevin Lewis Southern, Molly Francis Bukowski, Kristen Renee Spulecki, Suzanne Starr, Brendan C. Stone, Spencer Reginald Stressing, Michael David Zalak, Brittany Ann Taylor, Gabriella Antonia Tremont, Nicholas P. Tuttle, Tyler James Huber, Carmen Alexander Vaco, Joshua Scott Wallace, Lauren Wardinsky, Bridget Ann Williams, Nicholas Darren Winkley, Andrew Shop, Samantha Angela Winter, Ryan Michael Whitlinger, Jessie Faith Woodward, Pierce Vincent Young, please join me in congratulating all of the graduates.
Will all the graduates please stand? You may now move your tassels from the right to the left. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you class of 2019.
All right. Once again, congratulations to the class of 2019. You are all invited to join us at a reception for the graduates at the Center for the Arts atrium. Immediately following this program, I do ask that you remain seated until the platform party and the graduates have exited the theater. Thank you all for your cooperation on this lovely day. And again, congratulations, guys. I invite Colin Knorr, class of 2019, back to the stage to sing the University Alma Mater, to be followed by Professor Meideker's official closing of the ceremony. Please rise at this time if able.
The pride of our spirit and tradition, our alma mater's truth and name declare, celebrate our history and wisdom. Oh, let us all prepare to sing her glory. To Buffalo, all hail to thee, noble and strong, it's our university. To blue and white, pledge loyalty, singing I will always remember thee.
This is easy. I declare this 2019 commencement of the University at Buffalo to be officially concluded. Congratulations.
Tiger, I guess?
Tiger Rag.
With that cut, 81 to 97? 81 to 97?
We should do the last
81.
measures cut on.